trying to see. This last week we had the special session of the legislature, and we had to pull the whole campaign to a dead stop. Couldn't raise any money during that period, and it was a time to not make any public appearances, just to step back and to think about what's going on in the state. How did we get into this pickle where in 19 months we went from a budget of $7.1 billion to the one we just balanced out at $5.4 billion. That's a 25% loss in state revenues in 19 months. The revenue loss is bad enough, but that means we had to cut. First of all, we had reserves, so we were able to use some of them, but a huge cut in services was how we were able to balance the budget. We say 7.5% cut in all the services that aren't schools and that aren't Medicaid. But since the year is half over, that's effectively a 14-15% cut for agencies like senior citizen programs, health department programs. Of course, Harvey's retiring, so they'll be able to absorb much of that. And you know, prisons and state police. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. I'm running because I think we have much better choices to make than the ones we chose to make 2 weeks ago. Effectively, the whole session turned to total compost, as far as I'm concerned, on the first day when the governor sent his message down and said, and you cannot discuss revenue-raising measures. Now, he said, this is not the time to do it. I don't know when the time to do it is, if this isn't the time to do it. We needed to raise $200 million, and we could have avoided those cuts. We had methods available that wouldn't have hurt any citizen, any working family in the state of New Mexico, and we chose not to follow through with those. Well, the governor tied our hands, and we didn't challenge him. I'm running because I think we need to take those measures, and we need to do it as quickly as we can. Every day we wait is money lost, resources lost, services that will vanish, and it'll be very difficult to ever find and bring back. This state is not overly profligate in our spending. We do not have luxurious school systems, healthcare systems, programs for those in need. We are not overspending. If you read the Albuquerque Journal or listen to television and radio commentators, you think that, my God, we've just been spending like we're on a spree without an end. The issue really is that we've cut $1 billion out of our tax base since the Richardson administration started. $1 billion of recurring revenue every year that we no longer collect. A lot of that is for lower income families, and that is absolutely where it should have been. But a lot of it is from people who could very well afford to pay their share of what's going on in the state. And I'm talking about those people with taxable incomes in excess of $50,000 a year. We've basically flattened our income tax structure by eliminating all those distinctions in categories. And so now we have what used to be called a flat tax. Just about everybody is paying the same rate of tax. And that's not very fair to the low-income families, and it's definitely a loophole we ought to plug for the upper-income families. If we just did that, we could raise that $200 million. We just reestablished some progressivity in our income tax rates. If we don't do it, we're going to have to keep cutting. Now, I'm a social worker by training. All of my professional life has been spent trying to figure out how families, kids, the elderly, the mentally ill, the people with drug and alcohol problems, the ex-offenders, how they can be helped, how we can get them back into productive roles in society. These cuts are going to make it very difficult to do that. I would like your support in this campaign because I would like to establish as a basic principle that this state will think of its neediest citizens first and not last. Woo!